Minecraft morning, everyone. I am CrainCraft and welcome back. We're here today for another mod spot with WTBW Tools by Naxonria. This 1.15 plugin adds new ores, new tools, armor, weapons, some convenience-oriented recipe changes, farming modifiers. There's just a lot of stuff for us to cover. So pull up a chair and let's hang out and talk about WTools, which, by the way, I'm abbreviating so that I don't keep stumbling over it and sound like an idiot. So WTools is part of a collection of mods made by Naxonria that revolve around some new ores, processing them, and then items that can be made from them. There's everything from low tier items all the way to end game items. The base mods are WCore and WLib, which make up the foundation. Then there are add-ons like WTBW Tools, W Machines, W Decorations. We'll cover each of those in a separate mod spot, but right now we're going to cover the core and then the tools and what it all adds into the game. So buckle in, let's get started. The first things that I want to cover are three blocks that are added. There is groundium, which is at its base a decorative block, but then becomes a base for reinforced groundium, which is witherproof to build wither farms. Then you have a block of blaze. This is simply a storage/decoration block. It allows you to take 9 blaze rods and make a block of blaze. So let's take these out and take a look at the recipes really quick. For groundium, I'm going to need any type of stone and then obsidian. That's going to give me 8 groundium back. Once I have the groundium, I can combine that with obsidian and iron bars to make the reinforced groundium. For the blaze block, it is simply 9 blaze rods. You fill up your entire crafting grid just like you would make a block of anything else, and it becomes a block of blaze. So let's put all that back and let's move on to the next section. Here we're going to cover tiny coal and tiny charcoal as well as a block of charcoal. Now, tiny coal and tiny charcoal are basically the same recipe and the same idea for both coal and charcoal. Coal and charcoal have a 1600 burn rate. If you're just burning 1 or 2 items, you waste a good bit of your charcoal because it sits in there and burns up. Tiny coal and tiny charcoal allow you to divide your pieces of coal and charcoal into 8 smaller pieces that each burn for 200 ticks, making it a bit more efficient. And then block of charcoal is the same thing as the block of blaze. You take the charcoal, you fill up your crafting grid, it becomes a block. So let's take a look at that really quick. The charcoal, if we add 1, we get 8 tiny charcoal back. If I add a coal, I get 8 tiny coal back. If I take my charcoal and fill my grid up, I get a block of charcoal. Pretty simple, pretty convenient. I use these a lot early game. When I'm cheap and don't have a lot of coal, but I want to cook or I want to smelt or something like that. So let's move on to the 2 new ores that make basically the foundation for most of the rest of the mod. There's cobalt and there is copper. Cobalt spawns between 80 and 127. Copper spawns between 24 and 56. These are standard ores. You can put them in a furnace and smelt them. They smelt out into ingots. You can take the ingots and make them into blocks just like you would any other block. If you're watching this, I'm going to assume you're familiar with this, so I'm not going to go through the process. The next thing that we're going to cover are some additions to the vanilla armor, the vanilla tools, and then a new set of tools that get added. For each of the new ores, there is a set of vanilla armor, both copper and cobalt. Same thing for the vanilla tools. There is a set of copper, and then there is a set of cobalt. The one exception is armor. There is a new set of armor added called shulker armor, and I'm going to show you how to make these. I'm not going to make every one of them. I'm going to pick one out. We're going to make one of each one, and I'll show you the rest of the recipes. So for this, I'm going to need all of this. So the bottom copper tier is always vanilla-like in its recipes. All you need, for example, is copper ingots in the pattern of leggings to get copper leggings. It's the same for the helmet, the same for the chest plate, and the same for the boots. Now, cobalt gets a little bit different. Let's do the chest plate. It is going to require cobalt ingots and the diamond equivalent of what you're trying to make. I'm trying to make a cobalt chest plate. I need a diamond chest plate. If I was trying to make a cobalt helmet, I would need a diamond helmet. So let's make that, and then I'll show you the rest of the recipes. Here is the cobalt helmet, again with the diamond helmet. Here is the chest plate that we just did, the leggings, and the boots. Now, once you get to the shulker armor, these two tiers are upgrade in place. And what I mean by that is to get to a shulker helmet, I need a cobalt helmet. So let's take a look at doing a shulker helmet. As you can see, I'm going to need shulker shells, and I'm going to need a cobalt helmet. Once I get that made, it's going to give me water breathing, and also the set bonus when I get the whole thing is going to give me resistance 1. So let's go on and make that. And that's pretty much how that works. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm not going to make all of them for you. If you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you know how to make vanilla stuff. So the tools are a little bit different. The copper tools are made just like vanilla tools with sticks. These are made with cobalt ingots, and you'll notice that the handles look like diamonds. Well, that's what they are. Yeah, they're a little expensive. So let's just do the copper sword, which is made with a stick, 2 copper ingots, just like a iron sword would be. However, when we move to the cobalt sword, you'll notice that instead of requiring a stick, it now needs a diamond, and instead of requiring iron or anything else, it requires cobalt. And then we get our cobalt sword, which is 2.2 attack speed with a 12 damage. The other tools are made similarly. The cobalt pickaxe is made in the same pattern. Anywhere there are sticks, just replace them with diamonds. All right, so let's get those back in here, and let's take a look at the last item in the tool category. These 3 items were added using vanilla materials. So you have stone, iron, gold, and diamond, and you have hammers, great axes, and excavators. What these do is these mine an equivalent mineral in a 3x3 area. So hammers do stone-like material, great axes do wood-like materials, excavators do dirt-like materials. So I'm going to show you how to make these. I'm not going to make every one, but they are expensive. So let's do a stone excavator. You use smooth stone and then sticks. That's pretty normal. But once you move up into iron, gold, and diamond, you're going to need blocks. So let's do, for example, a iron great axe. You can see that we're going to do it in the axe pattern, but we are going to need blocks of iron. Then when we do, let's say, the gold excavator, we're going to need a block of gold. And then let's do a diamond hammer, and you can see that we're going to need blocks of diamond for that. So let me show you how these work really quick. I've set up over here for them. So this is for the excavator, and it works just like a shovel. It just works in a 3x3 area. There you go. Pick this up, good for clearing out spots for bases. So let's get up here. This is the hammer, which works just like the excavator, except it works on stone. There we go. So the next one, of course, is the great axe. And I'm sure that you can figure out what it does. It's an axe. It chops wood. There you go. So each of these, as they go up in level from stone to iron to wood to diamond, just increase in durability. But they basically do the same thing. They mine a 3x3 area of the appropriate block. So next we're going to talk about a number of miscellaneous items that the mod adds to the game. There's quite a few, but I've broken them down into kind of related categories, and we'll go through them one by one. To begin with, we've got some tools. We start out with the trowel and the slime chunk finder, which does just what it says, finds chunks with slimes in them. It gives you a general direction and tells you that the nearest one's that away. The trowel is really interesting. If you hold it in your hand, it places random blocks that you have in your toolbar. It might be good for like large scale floor when you want some kind of random pattern or something. Then you also have swappers. You have a stone swapper, an iron swapper, and a diamond swapper. I'll show you how to make a couple of these. I'm not going to take you through quite everything. So let's take a look at the trowel first. It's simply iron and sticks. Once I've got it, I'll show you how to use it here in a second. Then we've got our slime chunk finder. It is copper and lime dye. Once you get it, you just take it and right click and it will tell you found near slime chunk. It's going to be in the east direction and I can just head that way. For the swappers, we will do one of them. We'll do the iron swapper, which is simply a sticky piston, iron, and sticks. The diamond is the same thing except with diamonds. The stone is the same thing except with stone. All right, so let's put all of this back up and then grab this out, which is our random stuff. And we'll take our trowel and we'll put something down. You can see we got birch there. We got iron ore there. We got stone there. So it just puts down random stuff. It's the random stuff tool. Next, we have watering cans. Now this kind of leads into this next category, but these watering cans are a farming multiplier. Each one holds a set amount of water, either 1,000 millibuckets, 5,000 millibuckets, or 10,000 millibuckets. Each one on use has a percentage chance and a radius in which crops have a chance to grow. So you've got 10% 3 radius, 25% 3 radius, and then 35% 5 radius, which, think about it, that's pretty big. That's 10 across. So let's take a look at how to make them really quick. They're all basically made the same. We'll take a look at the stone, but these are tiered upgrades. So I'm going to make my stone, and then to make my quartz, I need my stone. And then to make my diamond, I need my quartz. Whoops. I need a block of diamond, and let's make one real quick. I was going to say I didn't have one, and it's right there. I can just make it. So, and there's our diamond watering can. And I will show you how to use these here in a moment, but I want to continue on and get through this before we do, because this kind of leads into the next really end game super OP item, which is the ender watering can. Now the ender watering can does not require water. It has a 7 radius, which is a 14 block diameter around you. That's just crazy. And it auto harvests and replants the crops. I mean, you could stand in the middle of a 14 block radius and just gather. It's pretty, I'll show you, it's pretty OP. So for this, you need an ender core, but for this to be OP, yeah, it costs some stuff to make it. So for the ender core, we are going to need 2 nether stars, 2 ender pearls, and a heart of the sea. And then finally, for our ender watering can, we need that diamond watering can we made, some end stone, which means we got to go to the end anyway, and then we get our ender watering can. Now, I do want to come over here and make like, I would like to make a diamond watering can to show you the difference. So, since I use that, oops, wow. Got to make it all the way through. I forgot. Why don't we just do a quartz? That way I don't have to do it on screen in front of you guys. All right, so let's put all of this back up. Yep. And we've got our quartz and we've got our ender watering can. So we will use those when we get over here. So next we're going to move on. We have the magnet and the magnet inhibitor. Now the magnet is a held item that you hold, you right click, and it pulls in items up to 3 blocks away. The magnet inhibitor inhibits the use of a magnet and pulling the items in a 3 block radius. So to make the magnet, it's simply iron, lapis, and redstone. That makes our our magnet, and to make our magnet inhibitor, we need a magnet and iron bars. So let me make another magnet really quick so that we can demonstrate. And then we will head over here and start on that as soon as we talk about trash cans. So trash cans are just like you think they are. They are items that you can right click and put stuff in and stuff just disappears. There's a regular trash can which takes items, a fluid trash can which takes fluid, and an energy trash can that takes energy. I'm not going to show you every one, but I will show you at least how to craft them. Here is the trash can. It is some type of stone and a barrel. And then you have the fluid trash can, which is just a trash can and a bucket. And then you have the energy trash can, which is a regular trash can, which we need to make another one of those, and a block of redstone, which then becomes the energy trash can. And then you just click, toss your stuff away. What do I want to keep? I want to keep those items. So let's talk about farming enhancements, and then finally we'll get around to using our water cans. So the first farming enhancement that, well, besides the watering cans, the first farming enhancement that we're going to talk about on this back row is greenhouse glass. So greenhouse glass is simply green stained glass and an emerald. I say simply, but that's again, this is OP late game stuff. Now, this needs access to the sky. Basically what it does is it filters the sunlight, amplifies it, and increases the growth rate of any crops passively underneath it. So I'm going to go on and put this down, and then we will come back in a minute and take a look at that. So watering cans. Let's talk about how they work. So they all have a different radius, and I made a piece here smaller than the radius would be, simply so that I can show you. So you right click and you can hold that down to fill up a can. You can see that the meter is increasing to show that I am getting water in there. Now the quartz watering can has a radius of 3, so you can see that this is already growing over here. I believe that this is somewhat randomized because there's just a chance for the crops to grow, but it does increase them. The watering can, you simply pick a block. It will be in, that will be the center of the radius. Hold down the right click button and it works very similar to bone meal. It waters the crops, it hydrates the soil, and there is a percentage chance that they will grow every time that they have a chance to grow when you're using it. Now, here is the OP bucket that lets you grow and auto harvest. So this is a 7 block radius, so I'm going to start like over here, and I'm going to practically you can see you're just harvesting, getting seeds. Yeah, this is why it's fairly OP in end game. I mean, you could think about it, stand in the middle of a 7 block radius and just sit here and do this, and every once in a while your magnet so that it'll pull everything in. All right, so talking about the magnets. Now, the magnet, you just saw me use it, basically allows you to pull in any blocks within a 3 block radius. So let me throw this stuff in here, pull out this diamond axe, and what we're going to do is we're going to stand back here, we're going to break this chest, and you see that the magnet pulled everything in almost instantly. Now, a magnet inhibitor stops that from happening in a 3 block radius. So this, and we've got this full of stuff, if we break it, now that was my regular pull, but you see that the magnet, even if I right click, is not working because of the inhibitor. I can still go over and pick the stuff up, but the magnet inhibitor keeps the magnet from working. So my apologies, guys. I had exited the video before I finished everything. We still have to cover the ender pouch and also the few recipe changes that I mentioned at the first of the video. So the ender pouch is a portable ender chest. To create it, we're going to need an ender chest, white wool, and string. Right there. The wool can be any wool, doesn't have to be white wool. That's just what I'm using. And when you right click on it, it works just like a portable ender chest. You'll see that I have 64 blocks of redstone in my ender chest. If I open my ender pouch, it says ender chest and I have 64 block of redstone. If I take it out and I go back over here and I look in it, then it's gone. So that's the ender pouch. Really nice little addition to the vanilla items there. Fairly easy to make, not that expensive. By the time you get to enchanting tables, you should be able to do that. So, recipe changes. There are 6 of them. These are primarily just convenience recipe changes. They do not replace the vanilla recipes, but rather just add an alternate recipe onto the side of it. So let's grab all this stuff because we need all this stuff to make it. And let's go through them one by one. First, there is the dispenser. As you know, the dispenser requires a bow. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So there is an alternate recipe that instead of a full bow, you can just use a string in place of it, and bam, you make a dispenser. You can also recolor wool and recolor terracotta. So let's put a wool down, and I'm gonna do black. Turned it black. We'll put some blue up there and put this black wool up there. It turns it blue. And then we will take some of this red dye, put one up there, stick that up there, and it's red. Now, it works the same way with terracotta, except for the terracotta, you surround the dye with it, and then you get 8 back out. So same thing. It doesn't matter if it's, you can dye it multiple times. It really doesn't matter. So just a way to color and recolor both terracotta and wool. Just remember the recipes work a little bit different. Then we have bulk chest crafting and bulk stick crafting, which I really like. Instead of using planks and instead of using planks, you simply use logs. Do this around, you get 4 chests out of it. If you do the same for sticks, then you get 16 sticks. So just some bulk crafting. And finally, we have flint crafting, where you put 3 gravel and you get a flint back out. So there are our convenience recipe changes. There is our ender pouch. And thank you guys. I will see you on the other side. Alright guys, so that was a longer mod spotlight. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to show the developer some love. Links to everything is in the description. You know how this works, guys. If you want more information, if you want more mod spotlights, if you want to hear more from me, hit that like and subscribe button. We're on the road to 250 subscribers. Thank you, and tune in next time. You know what it is. Peace out.